welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you every single book that I own, but I haven't read yet. So basically, my physical TBR. I have almost 60 books to show you, so I'm gonna try to keep this as short as possible. The first book is The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary. I picked this one up because I read The Flat Share and I gave it 4 stars. It was very fun and very enjoyable, so I really want to try more books from her, and this one seemed interesting. The next book is Until I Met You by Amber Rose Gill. This is, honestly, it was very inexpensive. It was on sale, so I bought it for that reason. I don't know anything about this. I think it has like a billionaire romance and they meet on vacation. It seems like a fun, quick summer read, so I am keeping it for that. Then we have Maybe This Time by Casey West. I have read a bunch of her books and I really enjoy them for spring and summer. They're very fun, quick reads. So this is another one that I picked up. Then we have Normal People by Sally Rooney. I have heard so many people rave about this book, especially Steph Boyer. I have not read anything from this author and she's very popular and hyped up, so I'm curious to try. Also, I'm very curious to see how I will feel about the fact that she doesn't use quotation marks, because I have never seen that before. The next book that I have is also very hyped up, and it's The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I'm very curious about this because I am Greek and we are taught this story in school, so I want to see the differences with the original one and how this author really wrote that. Then we have The Love Square by Lara Jane Williams. I have read a novella from her and I really loved the writing, so I wanted to give a chance to one of her full-length novels. And this is the one that I picked up, which is maybe not my brightest choice because this is obviously a love square, and usually I'm not a fan of a love triangle, so I don't see myself being a fan of a love square, but we'll see. Then we have Not a Happy Family by Shari La Peña. I might be pronouncing that wrong. So this is a domestic thriller and I am so excited about this. I have heard a lot of people talking about this and it seems really interesting, and also she has so many thriller like mysteries, so I'm definitely hoping that I'm gonna love this so I can purchase all of her other ones. The next book is What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. This is a book that I saw years ago on YouTube and I decided to finally pick it up. Obviously, it's from 2 very well-known authors, so I am very curious about this. Then we have The Handover by David M. Barnett, I think that's how you pronounce that. This is about 2 bodyguards that work in a museum. Basically, one of them works at night and one of them works at daytime. So it's the romance between these 2. Then we have Here for the Drama by Kate Bromley. The only thing I know about this book is that it's forbidden. Basically, she falls in love for her boss's nephew. The next 2 books are from the same author. So I have 2 Lucy Score books. I have Maggie Moves On and Things We Never Got Over. Obviously, this one is very hyped up. I have started this one. I have read like 40 pages, which obviously for the thickness of this book is not a lot. But it doesn't seem that appealing to me. It seems kind of childish and boring, so I have just put it down and I'm gonna pick it up eventually. But I do want to read this one before I go into Things We Never Got Over. Obviously, this is a very hyped up book. The second one just came out, so I am very interested about this. This sounds like my kind of book because the main guy character is grumpy and I love that in books. Then we have The Six of Crows duology that I basically bought it because Sarah Caroli loves it, so here we are. We have Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. I am so intimidated by these books because they are thick, they're huge. And I'm not like a fantasy girly. I haven't read any fantasy except for Harry Potter. But the first book is about a heist and that sounds really interesting. The next book is West Side Love Story by Priscilla Oliveras. I definitely picked this book because of the cover, because the cover is gorgeous, and there is a second book in the series that the cover is again beautiful, so this was definitely a cover buy, but I do think that the story sounds really interesting. It's basically a Romeo and Juliet retelling, and I always love that, like rival families and then the 2 main characters end up falling in love. I think that it's always so enjoyable. Then we have Sister of the Bollywood Bride by Nandini Bajpayee. I definitely said that name wrong. Then we have The Sister of the Bollywood Bride by Nandini Bajpayee. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but this is definitely like a cover buy. I think that it's cute. And also I saw Bollywood on the title and I am very curious about the whole culture. Then we have Digging Up Love by Sandra Blumberg. Again, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. I have started this one, like I have read 16 pages of it, but I decided to put it down because I wasn't into it. This sounds very interesting. So basically the main girl character finds bones in her backyard and she calls the museum and they send an archaeologist. which is the main guy, and it's the romance between these two. I haven't read anything about archaeologists, so I'm very curious about this. Then we have two Megan Quinn books. So we have The Reunion and The Wedding Game. I love Megan Quinn's writing. I love her stories, and I definitely want to read these ones very soon. Then we have The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. This was so popular last summer, and I definitely want to read it. I love the cover of it, and it seems like a fun time, but I'm definitely waiting for summer because summer is in the title. Then we have My Epic Spring Breakup by Kristen Rockaway. This is a very short, quick read, and again, I love the cover. Then we have another series, One of Us is Lying and One of Us is Next by Karen A. McManus. And this is a murder mystery, like a young adult murder mystery. And I have heard so many great things about this and in general about this author, so I definitely want to try her books. The next book is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I am so curious about this. I grew up watching her and I want to see what it was like from her perspective, because obviously as a child you think that everything is fine and you were watching her and you thought that she was having the time of her life. But I do know that that's not true, and you really just get to see that in this book. Then we have A Brush with Love and Lizzie Blake's Best Mistake by Maisie Eddings. I'm very interested in A Brush with Love. It's about a dentist, and I haven't read a book about a dentist, so when I see like a new thing, I'm always very curious about that. The second book I think has a pregnancy trope, which is not my favorite, but I am willing to give it a chance. The next book is The Paid Bridesmaid by Saria Wilson. I don't know if I said that correctly, but basically this is about, obviously, a paid bridesmaid, and she falls in love with the best man, I think. So that sounds very interesting. I have read The Roommate from her, and it was an enjoyable read. I think I gave it 3.5 stars, so nothing incredible, but still enjoyable. Then we have Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, and basically the main girl character in Fangirl writes as fan fiction, and this is the fan fiction that she writes. I don't know if that made any sense. So since I love that book, I went and picked this one up, but this is fantasy, and I don't know, it doesn't really appeal to me, but I do want to eventually read it. Then we have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book is so hyped up, the author is so hyped up, so I definitely want to read this pretty soon. I'm just scared because when a book is so hyped up, I don't want to be disappointed if I don't like it. So that's usually why I'm scared of very hyped up books. But this sounds interesting. Then we have Radio Silence by Alice Osman. I have read the Heartstopper series from her and I love it. And I had actually read like half of this book, but I put it down for years and obviously I don't remember anything about this, so I do want to read it from the beginning. The next book is Good Girl Complex by Elle Kennedy. I feel like I have heard so many things about this author, so I decided to pick this one up when it came out. But I haven't heard the best things about this book, so I'm kind of scared to read it, but at the same time, I do want to see if I like her writing. Then we have The Start of Something by Miranda Dickinson. She is a single parent and they are neighbors, and that's all I know. The next book is 7 Minutes Later by Bonnie Kistler. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but as the cover says, we have two women, they walk into an elevator, and when the doors open, only one of them walks out alive. This is a mystery thriller book. I haven't seen anything about it, but I'm hoping that this is gonna be good. The next book is The Girls I've Been by Tess Sharp. I think this is about a girl that used to be a con artist, and that sounds very interesting. I think this is thriller mystery. I might be wrong, but I'm very curious about this. Also, I love the cover of this. I love like the simplicity, but also the contrast. Like we have the red and then we have the black. It's so pretty. Then I have the Shadow and Bone trilogy by Leah Verdugo. So Shadow and Bone, Season Storm, and Ruin and Rising. I love the covers of these books. They are so pretty and the spines are gorgeous, but I haven't heard the best things about these. People usually give them around 3 stars, at least from what I have seen. So I'm scared that I'm not gonna like them, and I don't want that, but I do need to eventually read them. Then we have 2 Abby Jimenez books, so The Friend Zone and The Happy Ever After playlist. I want to see how I feel about her writing because she's getting very popular, especially after Part of Your World. People are saying that her writing is so good. So I definitely want to try it to see if I like it. Then we have The Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy by Jenny Han. I have read To All the Boys I've Loved before, the whole trilogy, and I have seen the movies and I love them. So I'm very curious to read this one. But again, I don't want to wait until summer because summer is in the title. I have the whole trilogy, so The Summer I Turned Pretty, It's Not Summer Without You, and We'll Always Have Summer. The next book is The Raven Boys by Mikey Steve Vader. I picked this one up because it says down here, if you kiss your true love, he will die. And that sounds so interesting. It kind of reminds me of the Shatter Me series, where if she touches someone, they will die. But this is kind of like, you know, your true love. So, I don't know. It was interesting, and I have heard good things about this. Then we have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This is obviously a very popular book, and I'm very curious about this. I haven't heard a single bad thing about the whole series, so I definitely want to read this one and obviously pick up the rest of the books. Then I have The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. I haven't read anything from her, and I'm very curious because she is a very popular author, and she has a bunch of books that I like their synopsis, so I want to read this one so I know if I like her writing. The next book is Pride and Premeditation by Tirza Price. I definitely didn't say that correctly. This is a Pride and Prejudice retelling, but like making murder mystery, and that sounds so good, and I love the cover of it. Then we have Much Love Gave to Me, and this is a bunch of short stories by a lot of different authors. I have read the first one and I enjoyed it, but I'm waiting for Christmas, even though that a bunch of Christmases have passed and I have not read this, but I cannot read it in summer, obviously. Then we have Verona Comics by Jennifer Dagan. This is kind of like a Romeo and Juliet retelling where it's like rival families. This is a young adult. I love the cover. That's always a plus. I have had it for a while now, and I have wanted to read this for a while. The next book is The American Roommate Experiment by Elena Armas. This is the second book. The first book was The Spanish Love Deception. And the reason why I haven't picked this one up is because I didn't love The Spanish Love Deception. I gave it 2.5, 3 stars, and it wasn't for me. It put me in a reading slump. So I'm scared to pick this one up, even though I do think that this one has the potential for me to really enjoy it because it's roommates to lovers, and I love that trope. Then we have The Intimacy Experiment by Rosie Danan. This is the second book of The Roommate. I read The Roommate. It was enjoyable. It wasn't anything incredible to me. I know that a lot of people love it, but I think that just like The American Roommate Experiment, this has the potential for me to really like it. Then we have My Mechanical Romance by Alexine Farrell Fulmuth. I definitely butchered that name. And this is the author of The Atlas X. This is very cute. It's about 2 gamers. I haven't read anything about gamers, which is kind of surprising. I feel like there's a lot of books about gamers. And the next book is Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. I have heard so many good things about this, and there's a movie that's called Love, Simon, so I definitely want to read this and then watch the movie. The next book is A Million Kisses. No, it's not. The next book is 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. I have heard that this book is very, very sad, and I'm scared. I don't know if I'm in the right mental state to pick up a sad book. Then I have the ACOTAR series, which is so hyped up. I have picked up the first 4 books. So A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, A Court of Wings and Ruin, and A Court of Frost and Starlight. This one is a short novella, and I'm so glad about that because these 2 are bricks. Then we have The Falling in Love montage by Kiara Smith. This is a sapphic romance, and it takes place in summer, I think, so I'm probably gonna read it this summer. Then I have 2 Emily Henry books, so People Will Meet on Vacation and Book Lovers. I haven't read anything by Emily Henry, and I really want to because so many people love her writing, her stories, and I'm hoping that I'm gonna be one of those people that are in love with her. And the last book is 8 Perfect Hours by Leah Lewis. This is a Christmassy book, so I need to stop forgetting that I own it and pick it up when Christmas comes. That's all I had to say. These are all the books that I own but haven't read yet. I'm hoping that by the end of the year I'm gonna read the majority of them, but who knows? Let me know in the comments if you have read any of them so I know what to prioritize. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to. I hope that I will see you in my next video. Bye!